right, everybody, welcome into the high. Oh boy, here we go. Right from the start. Clearing the throat, timeout. There you go. All right, feeling a lot better now. Welcome to the high noon edition of Pugs and Company. Although I'm thinking I got to change that name because the high noon, unless we can consider y'all company, maybe you guys are the company. You folks who populate the chat. You know what? That's a good thought. We're going to stay with Pugs and Company. My idea was that this shouldn't be called Pugs and Company anymore because I'm pretty much decided that I'm going to do these couple hours every day in the afternoon here all by myself, just stream of consciousness, just blah, 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 any topic that's happening, all the things that are trending, current events, whatever it is that people are talking about. I'm just going to do it by myself. So at that point, I thought, the end company doesn't really fit anymore. I mean, the second stream that we do every day, the 9 o'clock Pillow Talk edition, that's got James Parker. And I decided we'd call that Pugs and Parker because, if he's here, he should get some billing too. And there you go. That makes sense. Pugs and Company here didn't make sense to me, but now I thought about you. I thought about you, the fine listener. So we're going to include you in it. What do you say, Byron? Yeah, gurgle, gurgle. I got some, I'm not sick. It's not you're sick. Here we go. COVID. It's not one of those deals, I promise you. All right, here's what we do. If you're new, what are you new? If you're new to all this show, good afternoon, Tom. Tom, one of my bestest and oldest friends. I gave Tom the short shrift yesterday when I was talking about how I really don't have any friends anymore because this pandemic has basically turned me into an antisocial loner. And I listed my friends. I got E, who lives like 30 yards away from me, who I see at best 4 or 5 times a week, maybe. He lives 30 yards away. We talk on the phone and we text. So E's one, and then there's Ed, the godfather of Radio Misfits, who's been one of my closest friends now for years. He lives 1,000 miles away, so it's like I don't really see him. I got my buddy Aaron, who I consider one of my best friends, one of the people I'm most loyal to. He lives 20 miles away, and I never see him. But that's on me. It's not necessarily on him. Well, that's also on aging. We get busy. He's got kids. And then I named Parker, who I do the Pugs and Parker show with. And I forgot Tom. What a day. And one guy back in Chicago, Mike, who I text with all the time. So I consider him a close friend because we text almost every day about something stupid that's happening. TV mostly we watch a lot of the same shows. So we keep in contact that way. And I forgot Tom Beller. Tom and I go way back. Tom and I go back to when we were just little kids. Tom and I hated each other at first. Well, I don't know if we hated each other. I hated Tom. I hated Tom. Tom was a year younger than me, and he played in the same youth football program as me. And I was a lineman. And I remember my first time realizing that Tom Beller was a human being was when he, a year younger than me, showed up for football, and he was massive. He was just huge. And the coaches, every time I would dog it, the coaches would get in my ear and they'd be like, "We're going to bring that big redhead in. He's going to replace you. You ain't as good as him." And I'm like, "I know I'm not as good as him. He's huge. He's a year younger than me, and he's a giant. That's not fair." So I hated Tom. And then my best friend at the time moved. Tom moved too. My best friend at the time just coincidentally moved next door to Tom. So when I would go visit my best friend the next town over, it was like I was forced to hang out with Tom. And guess what? We turned out to be best buddies. It turned out we had a whole lot in common. So there you go. So I apologize, Tom. I didn't mean Adam, you're a friend. You guys are friends, but we don't have each other's phone numbers, and we don't. I certainly don't mean to give the short end of the stick to any of the listeners, but we are friends. We are friends. If I saw you on the street and we're like, "Hey man, you want to grab it?" We would do that. We would totally do that. I mean, I've socialized with Adam and his lovely wife. I can't I can't consider you guys in the chat room my friends because that blows the bit. The bit is that I have no friends. The bit is that I'm basically a loner living in this guest house. But I'm a good loner. It's good with me. I'm an only child. I was raised in my bedroom by myself, talking to myself, watching TV, and listening to the radio and stuff like that. So I'm good. It's not a complaint. It was just a realization that I had that, man, I have very little. Is it weird that my closest friend is probably my 12-year-old son? Like, he's the one that nah, it's not weird. You're not a friend. You're a parental figure. Yeah, I know. I get the difference, but I think you can also be friends. All right, let's talk about what today is. And on the High Noon Show, what we like to do is we get into all the things that are trending, all the things that people are talking about. It's a current events stream. Anything that's happening in the world, I try and talk a little bit about it. And, just if you hadn't heard, now you have. And you don't walk around going, I don't know what's going on in the world. It's a service. I present a service to you. Also, we do accept tips. We do accept donations. We do, your kindness and generosity is what keeps this show going. So appreciate that. You can look at the bottom of the screen. You can find out any number of ways that you can help support the show with a tip. Like, I'm your bartender. That's all. You don't have to go crazy. Just, a little something. That's all I'm going to say about that. Also, share the show. If you've subscribed and you hit like and you get the advanced, thing, show's coming on your social media networks and all that stuff, share it. Just share it. Share it to your friends, please. Make that a habit. You have no idea. I know that's like, I forget to do it. Don't forget to do it, because that stuff really helps to grow the show. And that's the only way it's going to grow. It's just this depends on, the growth of the social media platforms. And I know many of you do it, and I appreciate it. None of you do it on Twitter. I got one girl, Sarah, who every single day since the start of this show has shared, forwarded, whatever, the blip that says show's coming. And I don't even know Sarah, but my God, I need to buy Sarah dinner should I ever meet her, because she has been every single show. She's like so awesome. I don't even know Sarah. I'm not even sure that Sarah is somebody that's here. I don't even know that Sarah listens, but I certainly do appreciate that effort that she gives every single day. She sees it, she forwards it. So you can do the same. Be like Sarah. All right, today is January the 26th. It is the 26th day of the year, the 339 more days until the end of the year. Here, let's get into a moment of joy. We like to start out each and every show with something that's supposed to put you in a good mood. This one might be controversial because this one put me in a good mood, but I saw it and I started reading the comments on it, and people were just appalled by it. Okay, are you watching this? So this appears to be some dude. Is it sharing? I need to make sure it's sharing. It is. All right. So this is some dude who's sleeping out in the woods, or Pugs, cheetahs don't exist in the woods. Okay, so it's like the jungle, maybe, wherever cheetahs are. I don't know. No, I'm thinking about it. Where are cheetahs? I know tigers are in India, not Africa. I know that lions are in Africa. Cheetahs in Africa? Let's say this is Africa. It's not like cheetahs exist in New Mexico. So let's just say this is Africa. So it's a dude sleeping in a tent, and he's got a bunch of cheetahs in his tent with him. Okay, first of all, that's kind of weird, but watch what happens. Look at this. There's a lot of people saying this is crazy. I agree it's crazy, unless you can get away with it. If you can get away with it, it's lovely. All right, look at this cheetah. She's like, I'm kind of cold. Mind if we share body warmth? And he's like, yeah, come on, get in here. All right, cheetah, there you go. Oh, do I want to sleep hugging a cheetah? I want to sleep. That looks so good. Look at him there. He's now the other one's like, hey, how come that one gets? I wanna. And now look at this guy. I like the guy down here. He's looking around. He's like, all right, I think I'm missing out on something. I think I'm just gonna lay on top of him. Look at that. Look at that guy. The guy's sleeping with it's like in a cheetah pile. He's like on the bottom of a cheetah pile. Oh my God. Does it get any better than that? I know a lot of people think he's crazy. I mean, I think he's crazy too if he doesn't know to cheat as well. But if he's raised those cheetahs since babies, maybe that's something cool. Here's my problem with that. Sometimes when the dog that we have here on the property, who is a blue Merle, Louisiana Catahoula Leopard Dog. That's the full name of his breed. Blue Merle, Louisiana Catahoula Leopard Dog. It's a weird breed. That's like, from Louisiana. And sometimes he sleeps in the bed, right? Sometimes, oh my God, I know. You don't let the dog in the bed. Sometimes, the dog has its little like bed area. Oh, and there she is. There she is barking in the backyard. She has her little bed area, but sometimes she jumps up. And honestly, I don't want to fight with her because she's a big dog and all that. And this dude is sleeping with cheetahs. Now, the problem with the dog we have here, CeeLo, I'm a dog niece, by the way. It's the property dog. It's E, the owner of the property's dog. Oh, God, I'm going to have to get up and let her in, aren't I? Because she barks, and the rich people that surround the compound call the police because dogs can't bark during tea time. It's like that whole deal. So if I have to get up and let her in, I'll let her in. But she's got these claws, man. She's one of the things about this breed is that they have like an extra claw because they climb trees. They chase animals up trees and stuff down in the swamps and their paws are webbed. Like most dogs have webbed, but this is like real. Their paws are like super webbed because they run in swamps and water like that. She scratches the crap out of me. She almost took my kid's eye out once. He was wrestling with her in the bed and she put her paw up to stop him and she glanced the side of his face. He had a scratch on his face. I don't know how you could do that with cheetahs. A cheetah makes a sudden move in the middle of the night. It'll rip you open. It'll do surgery on you. All right, so there you go. That's your moment of joy. All right, let's talk about some of the things that happened on this day being January 26th. On this day in 1998, the Lewinsky scandal. Oh, remember that? Just last week or maybe the week before, we talked about how it broke on the Drudge Report. It was on this day in 1998 on American television, U.S. President Bill Clinton denies having had sexual relations with former White House intern Monica Lewinsky. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. She blew him. She blew him. And that started a whole debate about whether or not oral sex constitutes sexual relations. I say it does. I say that he was being wildly disingenuous. Not the first time, though. That dude's that's his whole bit, right? That he's always just a little bit disingenuous with everything. So that was on this day in 1998. I remember watching that. We all did. A lot of people watched that. He sat down. It was on TV. I guess it was during a deposition, that he did it. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Or did he say that Lewinsky woman? I don't know. Also, Bill, a little disingenuous. I get why you're saying woman, because you don't want to say girl, even though girl might be a little bit more accurate for the way the rest of the country was thinking about it, because there is just a massive age difference between the president of the United States and the intern that you were not having sexual relations with. But he couldn't say, I did not have sexual relations with that girl. Oh boy, that would have sounded bad. But I was thinking, it's not a woman. She's not really a woman, Bill. You're married to a woman. Hillary Clinton is a woman. She's like 50-something years old. That's a woman. All right, what else happened? On this day in 2009. Oh, my God. On this day. That means it's their birthday. On this day in 2009, Nadia Suleiman gives birth to the world's first surviving octuplets. Remember Octomom? Yeah, that was on this day in 2009. So we're talking about this woman, not Octomom, Nadia Suleiman. On this day, she's got 8 13-year-olds. Oh my God. I got one 12-year-old, and I only have him part-time, and it is exhausting. I mean, a 12-year-old, she's got like multiple. What does she got? What's she got? What are we talking about here? Do you remember the breakdown of what the kids were? Let's figure out what these were. 6 male and 2 female. Okay, that's probably a better mix. I wouldn't want 6 female and 2. Although she's a mom. Although moms are good with boys. Moms are good with both. I think dads are a little bit clumsy with girls and more comfortable with boys. 6 males and 2 female children conceived via in vitro fertilization and subsequently born to Nadia Suleiman on January 26, 2009 in California. They are the first known octuplets to survive their infancy. The extremely controversial circumstances of their high-order multiple birth has led to debates in the field of assisted reproductive technology and an investigation by the Medical Board of California of the fertility specialist involved in the case. Wasn't she single? Isn't she a single mom? What? Oh, let's see if she's married. Let's see if she's married now. Let's see. She's 46. She was also she was what, 30, 33 at the time? Spouse. Okay, it looks like she was married between 1996 and 2008. Is that the sperm? Marco Gutierrez? Is that the her husband? Is that the sperm? I don't even know. And then from 1997, wait a second. She was married from 96, but divorced in 2008. But then she had a domestic partner, Dennis Baudouin, from 97 to 99. And somebody else who goes by the name of Frankie G in 2012. She's got 14 total children. Wait, she had 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What? She had 8 kids and then she had 6 more? Has she had 6 more since? In 1996, Suleiman married Marco Gutierrez. They separated in 2000. Okay, so that was it. So they didn't get a divorce until 2006. But they separated in 2000. Octuplets. In March of 2009, Suleiman bought a new house. Where's the other 6 kids come from? What's going on with her 6 kids? She's got 6 kids that aren't part of the octuple. Oh my, okay, we're not going to spend too much time on her. There you go. It happened on this day in 2009, Octomom. She's got 14 kids. Wait, no. She's got 14 kids. She's got 14 kids. It was 8 of them are 13 years old today. Good Lord. Sad day. On this day in 2020, a Sikorsky S-76B flying from the John Wayne Airport and Camarillo Airport crashes in Calabasas Canyon, 30 miles west of Los Angeles, killing all 9 people on board. But the only ones that we seem to remember are Kobe Bryant and his daughter, Gianna Bryant. That happened today. So, wow. I didn't realize there were 9 other people. Did everybody die? Killing all 9 people on board. Yeah. So I guess the pilot, and there were other kids. He was flying to his daughter's basketball game. Right. And I remember there was some controversy over whether or not helicopters should have been flying at that time, because there was some fog and they didn't see a mountain and they crashed into the side of it. Yeah. Wow. 2 years ago. Seems like it was just yesterday. That was 2 whole years ago. Time flies when you get old. Plane crashes in addition to the helicopter that went down in 1972. We had JAT Flight 367. It's destroyed by a terrorist bomb, killing 27 of the 28 people on board. The DC-9 flight attendant, Vesna Vulkov, survives with critical injuries. Also on this day in 1974, Turkish Airlines Flight 301 crashes during takeoff, killing 66 of the 73 people on board. There you go. So we did have we have plane crashes every day. Plane crashes. Oh, we got plane crashes every single day of the year. Birthdays. We got good birthdays today. Born on this day in 1925, died in 2008. This one sucked. This is one of my all-time favorites. Paul Newman. Happy birthday, Paul Newman, the salad dressing king. Also, he makes the best salad. I'm sorry, Newman's Own salad dressing and Newman's Own spaghetti sauces. They're the best. They are the best. They really are. They're a little bit more expensive, but I guess the money goes to a really good cause. All the money goes to Newman's Own charities, which he set up in the name of his son. I believe that's it. I'm not sure. Paul Newman, man. Paul Newman movie draft. Okay, here we go. It's time for another edition of a movie draft for a dead celebrity. Paul Newman. Today's his birthday. Okay, in the first round of the Paul Newman movie draft, this isn't even hard. Actually, it is hard, because when I was looking over his filmography this morning, I was like, what? Oh, how am I going to give 5? I can do a 10 round. I could do a 15 round, Paul. The dude made no duds. In the first round, I will be selecting Cool Hand Luke. Cool Hand Luke in the first round of the Paul Newman movie draft. In the second round of the Paul Newman movie draft, I will be selecting Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid from 1969. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. In the third round of the Paul Newman movie draft, I will be selecting, this is a weird one. This is because I did my scouting and I've seen a lot of these movies. And although this one is not one that comes up in many conversations about Paul Newman's best movie, I do believe it is the greatest racing film ever made. And that is Paul Newman's 1968 Winning with Paul Newman from 1968, where he plays a race car driver. And they shot the whole film at Monaco, whatever that big race is, that deadly ass race. And they film, it's real footage of the racing and stuff. And so there you go. In the round 3, Winning for Paul Newman, 1968. In round 4 of the Paul Newman movie draft, The Sting from 1973. The Sting from 1973. And, 5, I had to cut it somewhere. I mean, there was, the choices were Somebody Up There Likes Me, The Verdict, Road to Perdition. There are a whole bunch of great Paul Newman movies that I could have taken the 5th slot. But in the 5th round of the Paul Newman movie draft, Pugs and Company High Noon Edition takes Slapshot. Slapshot at number 5 from 1977. The greatest hockey movie ever made. Goon is also a very good hockey movie. Miracle is a very good hockey movie, but there has never been a better hockey movie than Slapshot from 1977. So once again, the Paul Newman movie draft, Cool Hand Luke is 1. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is 2. Winning is 3. The Sting is 4. And Slapshot is 5. Also celebrating birthdays today, we got Bob Uecker, the Uke, born on this day in 1934. Here's one. Born on this day in 1944. Jerry Sandusky. Remember that guy? Oh, God. Jerry Sandusky, the Penn State, the right-hand man of legendary Penn State coach Joe Paterno for years and years, molested a bunch of kids, is in prison. Happy birthday in prison, Jerry Sandusky. Born on this day in 1955, now dead in 2020, Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen was born on this day. Also born on this day in 1958, Anita Baker. Born on this day also in 1958, Ellen DeGeneres. Born on this day in 1961, the great one, Wayne Gretzky. And born on this day also in 1961, Tom Kiefer. Who's Tom Kiefer? Tom Kiefer. I do not like the band Cinderella. At least I didn't think I did. And then I went to a concert where Cinderella was one of the opening acts. And that Tom Kiefer guy, I was like, holy crap, is that guy talented. That guy does everything. He's like a heavy metal version of one of the Mandrell sisters. Remember how the Mandrell sisters used to play all the instruments and all the older folks used to go, wow, are they talented? Tom Kiefer, boy, he could do it all. American singer, songwriter, guitarist, piano player, composer, producer. Tom Kiefer. Don't be sleeping on Tom Kiefer. Happy birthday. Born on this day in 1961. Also born on this day in 1963, a guy who's, the UK version of Oates, Andrew Ridgeley. Andrew Ridgeley is to George Michael what Oates is to Daryl Hall. The other guy in the famous musical Twosome. Andrew Ridgeley, born on this day in 1963. Couple of deaths. We've got Kobe Bryant. We talked about that. Kobe Bryant, of course, and Gianna Bryant, his daughter, died on this day in 2020. But also Abe Vigoda. Remember Fish? Clemenza from the Godfather movies. Abe Vigoda was weird. Okay, not weird. I mean, he was a pretty cool actor, actually. But Abe Vigoda was interesting in the fact that when he played Clemenza in The Godfather, he played Clemenza like an 80-year-old man, like an old mafia boss. He was young. He was young. This was a guy who was like 35 years old who looked 65. And that's why when he played Fish on TV. Fish seemed like a 70-year-old man. He was only like 50 when he played Fish. He wasn't old. He was younger than I am now. And yet he played Fish, the old detective in Barney Miller, who should have retired years ago. He was only like 50. He just had that old look, man. He played old men for 40 years. And then it got into the 2000s and people were like, wait, Abe Vigoda is still alive? Is that guy 150? No, he wasn't. And then on top of the fact that he looked old, he actually was old for a very long time. He was almost 100 years old when he died, but he'd been playing old for so long, it felt like Abe Vigoda was never going to go away. Well, I mean that. I don't mean like go away. I just mean like be around forever. Immortal, a vampire, Abe Vigoda. All right, what is today? Before we get into all the trending topics, let's talk about what today is. It is Library Shelfie Day. I have no idea what that means, so we're going to just pass it by. It's also National Green Juice Day. Unless it's some kind of sugary lime, I'm not really interested in Green Juice Day. Everything that is green and a juice that I've ever put in my body tasted awful. It's National Peanut Brittle Day. Not a big fan of peanut brittle. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever really... it's all right, right? It's all right. Peanut brittle. Yeah. And it's also National Spouses Day. So if you got one, celebrate them. I don't have a spouse. I got ex-spouses, but I don't have a spouse. All right, let's talk about what's happening here in the news. Let's get into all the things that are trending, all the things that are happening. The big story right now broke about, an hour and a half ago. Justice Stephen Breyer of the United States Supreme Court has announced that he plans to retire, which will give, look at this. Hold on. Potential nominees to replace Breyer on the Supreme Court. They all look young. Sherilyn Ifill, Candace Jackson Akwiumi, Eunice Lee, Wilhelmina Mimi Wright, Ketanji Brown. Okay, so it looks like they're going to put a woman of color on the Supreme Court. Which is there one? Who did I miss? Leandra Kruger and J. Michelle Childs. It'd be weird. Like, what if they put who is the woman? Can't remember her name. Anita. No, was it Anita? Who was the woman who accused Clarence Thomas of putting the pubic hair on the Pepsi can? I can't remember her name now. I should know her name. But you know what it is? As I get older, things get removed so that new stupid crap can get... I probably got a whole... You know why that woman's no longer in my brain? Because my son has probably replaced it with the name of like Madison Beers, who is a YouTuber who I don't have any reason... Anita Hill. That's who it is. Thank you so much, Tom. Anita Hill. They should put Anita Hill. They should put Anita Hill on the Supreme Court. Why not? We're putting anybody on the Supreme Court now. We're putting people who, with all due respect, Madam Coney Bryant seems like a wonderful woman, but she was nowhere near qualified to be on the Supreme Court. She didn't have the resume for it, but she's there and she's young and she's in my opinion the most attractive of the Supreme Court justices. Not that means anything, but but isn't Sherilyn Ifill like a TV person? Isn't that's how we're going to put, like, I don't know. And this isn't like a gain. This is Breyer was appointed by Clinton back in 94. He's a part of the more progressive wing of the Supreme Court. So this is just replacing an old guy with a young black woman of color. Has there been, I'm trying to think now, has there been a black woman of color on the Supreme Court? Sandra Day O'Connor was the first. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was the second. We're talking about women now. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Then we had, am I missing somebody? We Sotomayor. We got Kagan. I don't know. I don't think there's ever been a black woman. Okay. All right. Maybe it's time. Put a young black woman on there. Yeah, April, that is a good idea. Well, first of all, Anita Hill is in no way qualified to be on the Supreme Court of the United States. But as I said, it apparently doesn't matter anymore. I wasn't exactly sure that Donald Trump was qualified to be president of the United States, but enough people disagreed with me, and he became a very popular president, also a very much derided president. I don't know, he divided the country. That's what I think. We don't do divisive politics, but come on, man. All that stuff started. Nah, you know what? That's not fair, Pugs. It all kind of started with Obama. That's true. It did. The division did kind of start with Obama. But, that's because people didn't like him, just like people didn't like Trump. And now we got this mess that we are never going to fix. April says Joe Biden screwed Anita Hill while he was the Senate chair of the Judiciary Committee. He did. He absolutely did. So you're right. So there's probably no chance that Biden would appoint Anita Hill, and he shouldn't. She doesn't have the track record. But I also am not sure that Carolyn Eiffel had. And I only say that because I'm familiar with her because she's on TV a lot, and I just assume she's like a TV person. And I don't know that we need to keep elevating TV people. The reason I say that is because you go on TV because you got hot takes, because you like the attention. I just don't know that that's, something that a Supreme Court justice should be involved in. So that's going to happen. Breyer is going to, when is Breyer going to step down? Has he said? Let's see here. Like I said, this story just started breaking earlier today. Let me go. Let's see if there's any more information here on this. Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer says he will step down. Justice Stephen Breyer plans to retire, setting up a seismic confirmation battle at the start of a midterm election year as President Joe Biden tries to find his footing with his agenda stalled and Democrats divided in Congress. Breyer is expected to stay on until the end of the court term and until a replacement is confirmed. This according to a well-placed source familiar with the matter. He informed Biden of his plans last week and will formally announce his retirement at a White House event with the president as early as Thursday. Although Biden's pick will not change the balance of the court, given that Breyer will almost certainly be replaced with a fellow liberal, the new nominee is expected to be much younger and could serve on the court for decades. The court currently has 6 conservative justices appointed by Republican presidents and 3 liberals appointed by Democrats. Sentencing Commission, another possibility would be Justice Leon. Okay, we don't need to go through all the possibilities. I'm sure we'll hear all of these people's names. I'm sure they'll be trending over the next few days. So let's move on. What else is trending today? This story I loved. I love this story because it's my people. All right, so we got the Ukrainian situation going on, right? Putin has amassed all of these troops, 100,000 plus troops on the border with the Ukraine. He is saber rattling. He's saying that these are just exercises, but it's the same thing he said when he took Crimea a couple of years ago. So everybody's like, okay, here he goes. He's going to make another land grab in Europe. So NATO and all the European countries that back NATO, most notably, the most vocal has been Germany and the UK. Germany and the UK are like, this is going to be bad. Everybody heads up. It's going to be bad. So Putin, knows that he may very well find himself in a war with the rest of Europe. We'll just refer to them as the European Union and NATO. So Putin has a bunch of submarines and ships that have suddenly appeared off the coast of Ireland. Yeah. Like he's anticipating he's going to have to, go to war with the United Kingdom. So he's got all of these boats and all of these submarines and the Irish, the Dale. The Dale is what they call it in Ireland. Here, let me pull the story up. The Dale is what the parliament in Ireland is called. So the Dale is freaking out, and they're like, we can't have these Russian ships off our coast if all hell breaks loose. And he feels that he needs to, basically go to war with England and the rest of the United Kingdom. He's putting his ships in position. And, of course, Putin's like, "Nyet, these are just exercises. These are exercises in international waters. This is nothing to be concerned about." And that's exactly the same tone that the Russian ambassador to Ireland is taking. Which, did you know there was a Russian ambassador? I've been to Ireland multiple times. Ireland doesn't need to have an ambassador from every other country. Ireland is just like yeah, it's a part of the West, but they just kind of they stay out. They don't stay out of it. They've participated in every major Western war, and they've been on the side, and they've been a part of the coalitions and all that. But it's not like it's not like the Irish politicians have any real sway. They don't make any judgments. It's not like anybody goes, yeah, but the Irish said. So I don't really get why there's a Russian ambassador to Ireland, but there is. And he's saying, just like Putin, yet these are just, you're overreacting. Come on, have beer. Have beer, have some potatoes. You're overreacting. But the Irish people themselves ain't having it. They ain't having it. So there is now an armada, just like in that movie from a couple, Dumbledore. What was the movie? I can't think of the movie about World War II and the invasion of Normandy Beach. Dunkirk. That's it. Dunkirk. So, hold on. I'm having a difficult time seeing this. Oh, look, our Russian trolls are in the chat room. Maybe instead of just typing weird, nonsensical things, they could state their position. Yeah, Dunkirk. Thank you, Adam. So just like Dunkirk, all the Irish fishermen are like amassing this armada of boats, fishing boats, to go out to where the Russian ships and subs are out there practicing and just mess with them. Just basically go out there and just start fishing. Wherever the Russians are, the Irish are going to claim that that's their fishing grounds, and they're going to need to be out there. So you're going to need to move your ships back a little bit further unless you want to start a whole international incident by killing a whole bunch of unarmed fishermen. The chief executive of the Irish South and West Fish Producers Organization has said the area where the Russian ships are is very important for members. Patrick Murphy say that they want to protect biodiversity and marine life. But Russian ambassadors to Ireland, the Russian ambassador to Ireland, says controversy around the exercise is hugely overblown. On Monday, Yuri Filatov held a press conference at the Russian embassy in Dublin. He said that planned exercises by Russian naval vessels was not in any way threat to Ireland or anybody else, and that no harm was intended by it. What? We're not doing anything wrong. No harm. No foul, man. Come on, be cool. Mr. Filatov said 3 of 4 ships would be involved, or 3 or 4 ships would be involved, but he did not know if missiles or submarines would be used. Hey, Mr. Russian ambassador, are they going to have subs out there too? Are they going to have missiles? I don't know. Probably not. I don't know. They don't share such things with me. I'm ambassador to Ireland. My job is to stay sober. That is pretty much it. Mr. Filatov also said the exercise was a non-story, which has become part of propaganda campaign about an alleged Russian threat to Europe. Meanwhile, Mr. Murphy said he spoke to an official of the Russian embassy on Tuesday afternoon. He said the official told him it would be reckless for fishing organizations to send boats out to intervene with the exercise. Mr. Murphy said he assured the official that the fishermen's organization wouldn't be sending boats out to specifically engage the Russian military exercise. We are letting them know, this is the Murphy guy, head of the fishermen's organization. We are letting them know that we will be fishing in our traditional Irish fishing areas. And if this has an impact on their exercise, this would be considered a peaceful protest. Speaking on RTE's Morning Ireland, RTE, by the way, that's pretty much the only network in Ireland that isn't controlled by the bloody British. Speaking on RTE's Morning Ireland, Mr. Murphy said there were currently 500 million tons of blue whiting, that's a fish, in the area that move up along the coastline, representing 1 million tons of fishery. This is a very important ground where we fish and we don't know what we're going to find out there. Okay, so it's just a cool story, right? Just a bunch of angry Irish fishermen who are like just pissed that the Russians seem to be setting up some kind of intimidation move for the rest of that area of Europe, the United Kingdom especially. They're doing exercise. By the way, it says here that this is the first time in known memory that the Russians have used Irish waters as staging ground for military exercises. What? Nothing to worry about. This is totally normal. But you've never done this before. You've never done this before, and you're a little bit upset about the rest of the United Kingdom. So you can forgive us for thinking this is a bit sketchy. Don't worry. Overblown. Overblown. This is propaganda, Western propaganda. Mr. Biden probably put this in your head. While the Russian military can, within the law, carry out these exercises off our waters in our economic zone, they are certainly unwelcome, and that has been communicated to the proper authorities. I love that story. It's just such a cool story. It's just a bunch of, come on, just a bunch of Irish guys on the deck. Get over here. Come on, let's do it. Just a bunch of half-in-the-bag fishermen looking to fight some Russian naval guys. What else is trending today? This is fun. This is interesting. You folks know USFL. The USFL is back, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. The prematurely destroyed USFL from the 1980s is back, although it's a little bit different. It's got a whole bunch of the same teams that were involved in the original USFL back in 1983. But the games are going to start here. I'll read you this story. I don't know. I don't know if I like this. And here's the other thing. So I was watching YouTube videos last night about the USFL because if you remember, I consider one of my areas of expertise to be 1980s USFL. I was a big USFL fan. Go Blitz! I was a big Chicago Blitz fan. Unfortunately, the Blitz are not represented. The Bears sucked back then in 1983. They got good in 84, and then the rest is history. We know about how they ran out some pretty good teams for the rest of the 80s, really. But the Blitz, I needed a team that was going to be good, and the Blitz was good. The Blitz actually was a good football team. So I became a big Blitz fan. I became a big fan of the other teams. I was a big Michigan Panthers fan. I was a big fan of the LA Express. I liked the San Antonio Gunslingers. It's cool. Jim Kelly was with the San Antonio Gunslingers. Steve Young was with the LA Express. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's why USFL is trending. The excitement continues to build for the April 16th start of the new United States Football League. Yeah, I mentioned that they've adopted and bought the trademarks for. This is not the same league. This is a totally different ownership. I believe this is owned by Fox. Fox Network is trying to create their own league, a spring league. And they went out and they bought the copyrights and trademarks or whatever it is to a number of the teams in the USFL. We don't have a team here in Dallas. And my Chicago Blitz were not one of the teams that were brought back in. But here's what they're doing. Here's why they're trending. The first season is going to be a bubble season. That's right. All games are going to be played in one city. All games will be played at two stadiums in one city. And that city is Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham, Alabama will be the host city for the inaugural USFL season, which will compete in a bubble system made popular during the pandemic by a number of other sports leagues. Games will be held at Protective Stadium and Allegiant Field, the 45,000 home of the University of Alabama, Birmingham, with a number of additional games. Legion Field, be staged at Legion Field. Let me see, what do we have? The first game will feature the New Jersey Generals. The original New Jersey Generals were owned by Donald Trump, who most people blame for the failure of the USFL. The first game will feature the New Jersey Generals against the Birmingham Stallions and will kick off at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday. That's Eastern Time. On Saturday, April 16th. That game will air on both Fox and NBC, making it the first scheduled sporting event to air on competing broadcast networks since Super Bowl I in 1967, which was shown on CBS and NBC. The first game played in any new league itself is historical, and having the USFL's inaugural game simulcast by NBC and Fox makes it even more so, said Fox Sports CEO and executive producer Eric Shanks. It's rare when two competitors can come together and see how cooperation can lead to a long-term benefit. Okay, so what are the teams here? Tickets for this is actually, they're making it, okay, so the talent, look, water seats its own level, right? So the talent isn't going to be NFL talent, unlike the original USFL, which had a crap ton of NFL caliber talent because they held their draft like a month before and they drafted all the top players that the NFL wanted. And then the NFL came along and drafted the same players. And then it became a bidding war and the NFL wasn't willing to outbid the USFL. So that's why you had guys like Herschel Walker, Doug Flutie, Steve Young, Jim Kelly. You had all of these guys, Reggie White. You had all of these guys who would have been first round draft picks in the NFL playing for the USFL back in 83 and 84. The USFL is a new American football league owned by Fox Sports. The 8-team league will hold a player selection meeting, that's the draft, on February 22nd and 23rd. Here's everything you need to know about the USFL. So what are the teams? Let's see the teams. What teams did they take? Okay, 6 of the league's 8 head coaches have been announced. Skip Holtz will coach the Birmingham Stallions. Kirby Wilson, the Pittsburgh Maulers. Kevin Sumlin, Houston, Texas A&M, I believe Arizona. He'll be with the Houston Gamblers. Mike Riley will be at the helm of the New Jersey Generals. Todd Haley will be running the Tampa Bay Bandits. And Bart Andrus, the Philadelphia Stars. What are the other teams? Where are all the teams? Let's see the teams. They unveiled the helmets. And all these kids on YouTube are like, these are cool helmets. They're the same helmets as in 1983. They're the same logos, the same color schemes, because it's basically the same teams. Tampa Bay, let's see all these teams. Philadelphia Stars. That'll be an interesting team to watch in the new USFL. Why, Pugs? Why is any of this going to be interesting? Because in the original USFL, the Philadelphia Stars were like the New England Patriots. They were so good. they were really good. All right, so here are the USFL teams. The Michigan, here's the North Division. It's divided into 2 different divisions. In the North, you'll have the Michigan Panthers, you'll have the New Jersey Generals, you'll have the Philadelphia Stars, and you'll have the Pittsburgh Maulers. In the South Division, the USFL will have the Birmingham Stallions, the Houston Gamblers, the New Orleans Breakers, and the Tampa Bay Bandits. Tampa Bay Bandits were owned, don't you know, partially at least by Burt Reynolds. And that's why they're called the Bandits, because of the whole Smokey and the Bandits thing. So if you like spring football, I mean, I think it's going to be bad. I think they're not going to go after any big players this time. It's going to be guys that are willing to play some level of professional football for like $50,000 a year at best. And there'll be some names, like there'll be guys that maybe were busts. You might see a 40-year-old Jamarcus Russell. I don't know. They've already made an offer to Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown might play in the USFL. I don't know. I hope it works and I hope it builds because I like football and spring football is kind of a cool concept if you ask me. All right, what else is trending today? Morrissey is trending. Morrissey, of course, of the band The Smiths. Typically, he trends because he's became a mean old man in his old age. He don't like nothing, and he's just got hot takes for days. But he's trending today because he wants Johnny Marr, of course, the guitarist and co-songwriter and co-leader of the band The Smiths. He wants Johnny Marr to keep my name out your mouth. Johnny's tired of Johnny Marr giving interviews and people bringing up Morrissey and then Johnny Marr having hot takes about what a dick Morrissey is. Now, I'm a Smiths fan. I like the Smiths. I think they are probably one of the greatest bands in the history of the 1980s music, probably the most underrated. But they are fantastic, wonderful band. But they never got along, and that's why they broke up. They're both incredibly talented guys. They could not get along, and primarily from everything that I've been able to read, even back in the 1980s, they couldn't get along then because Morrissey is a dick. Morrissey's just a dick. That's all. Singer Morrissey has made a polite and calmly measured call for his former bandmate Johnny Marr to stop using my name. In an open letter addressed to the guitarist, Morrissey said that they had not known each other for 35 years and that Marr should just move on. The pair played together in music legends The Smiths before an acrimonious split in 1987. In a tweet, so Morrissey said, "Stop saying my name." He issued an open letter, and here, what is it? Where is it? Marr's response. Here's Morrissey's letter. In his letter, Morrissey said Marr should concentrate on discussing his own unstoppable solo achievements. And please, just leave me out of it. He said while they both helped each other become whatever it is that we are today, Marr no longer knew him and knew nothing of my current life. This is Morrissey talking. He knows nothing of my current life, my intentions, my thoughts, or my feelings. We haven't known each other for 35 years, which is many lifetimes ago. Morrissey said Marr persistently, year after year, decade after decade, blamed him for everything from a tsunami to the dribble on your grandma's chin. He added that he had openly applauded Marr's genius during the last days of the Smiths and had not ever attacked the guitarist's solo work or solo life, but had been the subject of Marr's quotes. Whenever the press requires an ugly slant on something that I have said, just Johnny Marr was there. Just stop using my name as clickbait, Morrissey said. And then Johnny Marr responded on Twitter by saying, an open letter? That hasn't been a thing since 1953. It's all social media now, dude. Even Donald J. Trump has that one down. Also, this fake news business, a bit 2021, don't you think? All right, so there you go. So that's why Morrissey is trending, because Morrissey and Johnny Marr. Two amazing, excuse me, two amazing. By the way, my cough, it's a phlegmy cough. It's a crazy sinus cough. It's not a COVID cough. A COVID cough is dry and irritating. Mine is, there you go. So I guess the Smiths aren't getting back together anytime soon. McDonald's is trending. Actually, McDonald's hacks is trending today. Here's why. This is an interesting story. So apparently, starting, I'm going to read you the story, and then I'm going to give you my hot take on this nonsense, because this is nonsense. McDonald's menu hacks, okay? This is put out by McDonald's itself. They are introducing 3 new items. Is it 3? I think it's 3. Well, they're only showing 2 here. 2 new sandwich items that you can order by name starting January 31st. So just a few days from now. You can go into a McDonald's and you can order a surf and turf. That's a new thing you can order at McDonald's. Or you can order something they're calling the Land, Air, and Sea sandwich. Now, what are these? And now I shall read you the story. McDonald's is adding some menu hacks to its official menu items starting January 31st, 2022. These items will become official items you can order. Are you ready for the Land, Air, and Sea? Okay, here's what a Land, Air, and Sea sandwich at McDonald's is going to be. It combines a Big Mac, a McChicken, and a Filet-O-Fish in one giant sandwich. What is that? Is that going to be good? First of all, don't be sleeping on the Filet-O-Fish. The Filet-O-Fish is like an expensive menu item at McDonald's. Nothing at McDonald's is expensive. When you're on a budget, it is. And they're small, but oh my God. Like if money wasn't an object and I went to McDonald's, I would get like 4 Filet-O-Fish every time. Filet-O-Fish is so good, especially if you get a fresh one. Like if you get one that was just made and the fish is hot and the cheese is just melted in that bun, that Filet-O-Fish bun is like steamed. It's like pillowy. Oh, it's so good. And then the sauce, the tartar sauce, fantastic. Love the Filet-O-Fish. Get ready for a full day's worth of calories if you eat any of these menu hacks. The McDonald's website nutrition calculator shows that if you combine all the ingredients of those 3 sandwiches, it's 1,330 calories with 69 grams of fat, 124 grams of carbs, and 19 grams of sugar. The pictured sandwich does not use 3 slices of bread that the individual sandwiches would use, so those totals would be a little bit less. And if you're worried about salt, it's 2,150 milligrams for those 3 sandwiches. The Surf and Turf is another one. The Surf and Turf is a Filet-O-Fish sandwich added to the middle of a double cheeseburger. That does not sound as bad as the other one. I might try that one. I might be willing to try this mashup, the Surf and Turf, of a double cheeseburger with a Filet-O-Fish cheese patty in there. The surf and turf is a filet fish sandwich added to the middle of a double cheeseburger. The crunchy double, that's the third one. The crunchy double combines a double cheeseburger with a bed of chicken nuggets covered in tangy barbecue sauce. I'm out on that one. The breakfast menu also has a few new hacks for you to try, but this is not, I've been doing this for years. Actually, I haven't been doing this one. This one's a little different. The Hashbrown Mcmuffin is what you would expect it to be. It's a hash brown added inside a sausage McMuffin. I have for decades been getting egg McMuffins, not the sausage McMuffin, an egg McMuffin and a hash brown, and then putting the hash brown inside the egg McMuffin. That is delicious. That is a wang dang dilly of a breakfast sandwich. McDonald warns that the menu hack items will only be available to order by name for a limited time. All right, so there you go. So if any of that sounds interesting, health people are freaking out on Twitter about it, and fat people are rejoicing. And I guess count me in the latter, because I think those are fun. Also, okay, so Rip the Goat, Kobe is trending today. He died 2 years ago today. We already talked about that. That's that's sad. That's terrible. That little girl, multiple little girls died because some teammates were on the plane. Well, or helicopter. Well, we only seem to talk about Kobe and Gianna, but there was like a coach. There was another parent and another kid. 9 people total died when their helicopter crashed into Calabasas Canyon on this day 2 years ago. Also, here's big breaking news. This is big breaking news. Ozzy is dead. Ozzy is dead after testing positive for coronavirus. No, not Ozzy Osbourne. This is Ozzy, the world's oldest silverback gorilla. Ozzy, the world's oldest silverback gorilla, is dead at 61 years after testing positive for coronavirus. He died in the Atlanta Zoo. Ozzy, 61, world's oldest gorilla in captivity. He was a silverback. 61's not old for a human, and I just kind of assumed, I guess I thought that like monkeys and apes, I thought they kind of had a similar lifespan to humans. But apparently not, because if 61 is the oldest gorilla in captivity, that's not that old. And unless captivity takes a little bit of the life spark out of them. Maybe, I don't know. I still like zoos. I know they're terrible. Pugs, what do you? I saw that movie about the SeaWorld. Remember the whale movie about the SeaWorld thing, the documentary from a couple of blackfish, black-eyed, dead fish, whatever it's called. And I saw that, and I was like, okay, so I won't go to aquariums anymore. That seems pretty rough, the way they treat those animals, those beautiful, magnificent fish. And you know, I know the same can be said for zoos, but I love zoos. I love going to zoos. I love animals, and I know it's a. If you really loved animals, you wouldn't patronize zoos. Well, I want to see a tiger, and I don't want to go to India. You know, I get it. I'm a hypocrite. Also, I love the circus, and I can't go to the circus anymore because the last circus I went to was here at the American Airlines Center with my son, who at the time was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old, something like that. We used to go to the circus every time I came into town, and we loved the circus. Like my best memories of him as a really little kid was going to the circus with him. And the last time we went to the circus, we were walking in and we got surrounded by like 3, the circus is bad, the circus is bad. And they're yelling at me. And I'm like, hey, back off, man. Okay, get the fuck. I almost got into a fist fight with some protester about the circus because they were trying to block the entrance. I'm like, I got these tickets here, man. I'm going in. I don't care. My kid's like, what's that about? I go, I don't know. Just some people have values about the circus that don't jive with, our desire to be entertained by clowns and people on the high wire and all that. But I don't go to the circus anymore either. Because then I accidentally saw a documentary about the circus, and I'm like, okay, you made your point. Fine. They treat those elephants terribly. I'm not willing to do that with the zoo. I want to go to zoos. And I think that zoos are a little bit more, they shouldn't be in captivity like that. Well, neither should we, but the pandemic has said different for the last 2 years. So, I'm still going to zoos. Actually, maybe not. My kid's 13 years old. I don't know if he like zoos anymore, so I probably won't have an opportunity to go to a zoo again because, a single guy of my age just walking around the zoo, that's weird. That's a red flag. Dolly Parton is trending. Dolly Parton is trending alongside Duncan Hines. Why is Dolly Parton and America's favorite homemade baked cake company trending? Because Dolly's got her own Duncan Hines brand. She's apparently Dolly Parton's quite the cook, quite the baker. She loves to bake. She says that throughout the course of her career, she has written some of her best songs while baking. She finds that baking is a relaxing and conduit to her creative self. And every time she bakes, she has a little notepad there, and she bakes and she sings and she makes up songs while she's baking, and she jots down the ideas that she has. And some of her biggest songs were written while she was baking. So now Duncan Hines is putting together a whole Dolly Parton sort of here, we'll show you what they are. Sometimes when I want to write a song and I'm also kind of hungry, cooking and baking, cooking and songwriting always go along together for me, she said. I just naturally start having creative thoughts while I'm cooking. So I always keep a notepad over on the side and I write down ideas while I'm singing and humming along. I think, ooh, that was a good line, or ooh, that was a good thought, and I'll record a little melody with a little tape recorder. When asked which of her popular songs were written in the kitchen, she said, could be all of them, could have been any of them. So there you go. Studies have shown that baking, especially for other people, can be good for your mental health, contributing to stress relief and making you feel like you've done something good for the world. All right, so to give fans a little sample of what Dolly likes to make in the kitchen, Parton has just come up with a line of Duncan Hines baked goods that honor some of her classic Southern baking staples. Starting in March, you'll find her Dolly cakes, mixes and frostings on grocery store shelves, emblazoned with a vintage-style image of Dolly Parton. Looks like she's got Dolly Parton Southern-style coconut cake, Southern-style banana cake, whole bunch of frostings, Dolly Parton, Duncan Hines chocolate frosting, butterscotch frosting. Everybody loves banana pudding, Parton said while describing her cake mixes, but the banana pudding cake has all of those flavors and it lasts a little longer. I don't care. I don't cave in and it's prettier. Wait, I don't cave in. It don't cave in and it's prettier to just serve the pudding on top. And everybody loves the coconut cake. I don't know anybody, unless you're allergic to coconut, that don't like my coconut cake. Not one to challenge Dolly Parton, and knowing I had a chance to talk to her about the product. Okay, this is now a guy who's going to do a taste test. We don't care. We don't care because we'll buy Dolly Parton anything because Dolly Parton has earned that. Dolly Parton, a national treasure, has earned us going into the store and maybe spending 50 cents more on the Duncan Hines Dolly brand. She's earned it. I'm sorry. Actor Michael Rappaport is trending. Michael Rappaport. He's a troublemaker. He's funny, though. I find him so funny. He's a troublemaker. Michael Rappaport is trending because he was in New York City. He walks around. His deal is that he walks around and he just films everything and he gives commentary on what he's seeing. And one of my favorite ones that he did was he encountered Timothée Chalamet at a bookstore, or not a bookstore, like a on the outdoor magazine racks that you see in big cities where people just walk, they're walking down the sidewalk and they stop and they look at all the magazines and they thumb through. He encountered A-list actor Timothée Chalamet at one of these magazine places. And he's like, he engaged with him and he's like, what's up, Chalamet? And like Chalamet's like, hey man, what's going on? And then Rappaport, then Chalamet says to him, are you filming me? And Rappaport's, on camera, or not on camera, but he's pointing his phone at him. He's like, yeah. And then Chalamet's like, okay, dude, whatever. Take care. And Chalamet walks away. Perfectly normal. He just didn't want to be filmed. He was very nice, though. What's up, Chalamet? And he's like, hey, dude, what's up? It was like very friendly. He wasn't being a dick about it. But then he saw that he was being filmed, and so he was like, okay, I got to go. And he walked away. And as he's walking away, Michael Rappaport starts a fight with him. What? You ain't all that, Chalamet. You ain't all that when you walk away from. It's very funny. You can find that encounter on YouTube. So he's done it again. He's out there. He's in New York City. And here, this is what he encountered. He was in a, I don't know, like a grocery store. Or no, actually, I don't know. I think it's a CVS. What does it say? Does it say what it is? Yeah. So here we'll do this. He was in a CVS in New York City, and he was filming, and he just saw a dude walk in to the CVS and just start stealing stuff, just start putting stuff in his bag, just start stealing crap. And he filmed the whole thing. So here it goes. This is, we'll watch.
Yo, I'm looking at this shit. This dude, this motherfucker, yo, this dude is, I can't believe
Security guy.
I'm seeing this shit. This motherfucker, yo, this fucking guy just filled his 2 bags up with everything in Rite Aid, right here on 80th and 1st Avenue. He's walking down the street like shit is Gucci. Look at me in my face like, what's good? I was watching him the whole time. My man just went Christmas shopping in January. He had the condoms.
There he goes.
The shampoo.
Okay. So there you go. Dude's just walking into stores and stealing stuff, walking right past the security guard because security guard don't want to get involved. Crazy times. Security guard is just standing there as a deterrent, just in case anybody is, wants to come in and rob. Maybe they'll be a pussy and they won't do it because of the security guard. But apparently the security guard won't engage. Excuse me, won't do anything to stop him. And Michael Rappaport kind of caught this guy doing it. That kind of shit worries me. That is a complete breakdown of our civilized society. When people start looting in broad daylight without the backdrop of a riot or some kind of perceived injustice that makes them all mad and makes them, none of that shit is acceptable. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is when that stuff occurs, when the police are otherwise occupied with protests or whatever, you kind of understand it. You're like, okay, I can see why a bunch of criminals would take advantage of the situation, throw something through a store window and run off with a bunch of Nikes. I get that. That I don't approve of that, and I still think that's horrible. But the idea that this is not, and it's happening everywhere. They're doing these flash mob robberies where a bunch of, and how do you stop it? We've seen it in New York. We've seen it in Boston. We've seen it in Chicago. We've seen it in Houston. We've seen it in San Francisco. We've seen it. I don't know that we've seen it here in Dallas. I don't know that but you'll get like 20 criminals. They'll all show up at a store at the same time and all go in at the same time and just start taking stuff. It doesn't matter if there's an armed guard there. They all take it. They get in, they get out, they leave. There's nothing anyone can do about it because you can't stop 20 people all at once. But this is just one guy in a grocery store, in a Rite Aid. What the hell is that about? That's frightening. There's a lot of things that are going on in our society that frighten me. But the idea that these kinds of flagrant disregard for the rules of civilized society are now happening more and more commonly, that's very upsetting. All right, so that's why Michael Rappaport is trending today. What else is trending? Cocaine pig heart. That's got to have you interested, right? Cocaine pig heart is trending. See what this is about. All right, well, I'll tell you what this is about before I bore you with the details of the story. So when they do an organ transplant, we're all familiar with the little ice, the cooler that they have, and they'll take someone dies in a car accident and they've got a liver or something that could be used to save somebody else's life, kidney, what have you. They take it out and they pack it in the ice, and then they get it to the helicopter, and the helicopter rushes it over to somebody else who needs it, who's awaiting in surgery, and then they transplant it, and that's pretty much how it's done. But something I didn't know about is that like a lot of those fail because the minute you take the organ out of the body that has just died, the organ itself begins to die. And it's very difficult to keep those things viable, especially if there is a distance between, where you're taking it out and putting it in. So doctors, they had a heart that they wanted to transplant. It was a pig heart. This is something they're working on. So it's a pig heart that was genetically altered. It's a whole thing. So like they're genetically altering different animal organs in the hopes that if they slightly change them a little, that human bodies will be more receptive to them. So that's all. That doesn't matter. But they still encountered the same problem of transporting the recently taken organ and getting it. The time frame between putting it into the new body is still a problem. So what these doctors, and I don't know who this. I want to see the doctor who came up with this idea. I just want to look him in the eye and I go, how did you come up with this? They had an idea that if they used a solution of cocaine and then just sort of like basked the organ in cocaine, that it would, especially the heart. I mean, if you've ever done cocaine, I mean, that's what cocaine does. Cocaine makes your heart go, woo, let's do this. The first ever successful transplant of a genetically modified pig heart into a human patient was achieved earlier this month. Yet what many people don't know is that the procedure would probably have failed without the use of cocaine. As reported by Vice, surgeons at the University of Maryland's Medical Center used a solution containing cocaine in order to keep the heart viable prior to performing the life-saving operation. Among the many difficulties associated with such transplants is the fact that the donor organs don't tend to survive for very long once they've been removed from their original owner's bodies. Tragically, many procedures fail because organs deteriorate while in transit, all of which highlights the need to develop new techniques to extend the lifespan of these excised biological components. To overcome this problem, the surgeons behind this groundbreaking transplant treated the porcine heart, the pig heart, with a solution containing a mix of hormones and cocaine and adrenaline. As well, produced by Swedish company XVO, the formula had to be imported into the U.S. and was understandably placed under intense scrutiny by the Drug Enforcement Agency before being approved for use. Dr. Mohammed Muad'Din, the director of cardiac xenotransplantation at the University of Maryland Medical Center, says that the use of this concoction significantly extended the viability of the heart. When we were not using this solution, we were getting failures within 48 hours. But when we started using this and infusing the heart with the cocaine solution, the heart became well preserved and started beating very well. Once again, that's why people die of heart attacks when they do too much cocaine, because it makes your heart just supercharged. Exactly how cocaine helps to preserve harvested hearts is not fully understood, yet Muad'Din says that expanding access to the cocaine-laced solution could help to save the lives of countless people in need of organ transplants. So there you have it. There you have it. The Bolivian marching powder, turns out that there's a legitimate medical use for it. Yeah. Fight Club is trending as well today. Fight Club, who made that movie? Who made Fight Club? I know it was Ed Norton and Brad Pitt and who is it? It's somebody that I like. David Fincher. That's right. David Fincher was the guy behind Fight Club. Fight Club, the 1999 cult classic, concludes with a vastly different premise in China. Have you seen this? So China doesn't like a lot of the messaging from Hollywood films. And yet Hollywood wants to sell their movies in China because there's like 1 billion people and they want to see movies. So why not? The Chinese market is a big one. Why not? Well, I'll tell you why not, Pugs, because there's a little thing called artistic integrity. And a lot of times when someone creates something, a work of art, if you will, the artist who created it would be wildly offended to find that somebody is changing the entire message of the film. Well, that's kind of like what they do in China. So if a movie is somehow viewed by the Chinese government as being maybe going to put some bad ideas into the heads of the people that are watching it, the Chinese government will change the film. They'll edit it. And Hollywood, who wants to sell the movies in China, are like, whatever, dude. But meanwhile, the creators and the producers are like, what do you mean, whatever, dude? It changed the whole meaning of the film. And that's what they did with with Fight Club. In the original film, released nearly 23 years ago, spoiler alert, you guys, if you have not seen Fight Club yet, there's a spoiler because obviously we're talking about how the Chinese changed the ending. In the original film released 23 years ago, the narrator, Edward Norton, kills Tyler Durden, who we all know is his split personality. Tyler Durden was never real. Tyler Durden was just a projected split character created by the Edward Norton person. Norton then watches as the buildings around him explode and fall to the ground, an indication that the consumer debt within the credit card companies around them has been concurrently demolished. It's a very deep movie. There's a lot going on in Fincher's Fight Club. There's definitely... In China, however, the film instead ends with the authorities swooping in, preventing the bomb from exploding, and arresting all the anti-establishment figures involved. So they edit it, they shoot new footage, and they put it in the movie, and now the movie is totally different. Here's what it says. So Fight Club's ending for the Chinese release was changed to this. And now I'm waiting for someone. Okay, here it is. So here's what it says. Instead of the ending that we all saw, the Chinese ending shows the authorities swooping in, stopping the explosion. And then the screen goes black and there are some words. You got to read it, like this is what happened. And here's what it says in the Chinese ending of Fight Club. Through the clue provided by Tyler, the police rapidly figured out the whole plan and arrested all criminals, successfully preventing the bomb from exploding after the trial. Tyler was sent to a lunatic asylum, receiving psychological treatment. He was discharged from the hospital in 2012. I mean, they're totally disregarding the fact that Tyler wasn't real. It's like they don't even want that message to be out there, that the whole movie is a delusion by the Ed. It's funny. It's just funny. And that's what they're doing with that. But there have been other films as well. This isn't the first time a major production has been edited or censored in China. Films that are considered as potentially endangering national security, harming national dignity, or disturbing social order are regulated in China. These principles fall under the film industry's promotion law passed by China's National People's Congress in 2016, a formalized list of policies for film regulation. The goal of this law and the resulting censorship is to prevent any stories that are a threat to Beijing's sense of nationalism. All right, so here's a good example. So Iron Man 3 was changed, okay? So we all know Iron Man. Again, spoiler if you haven't seen it. Marvel's 2013 blockbuster Iron Man 3 underwent an extensive cut, tailor-made for the Chinese audiences. Much of the movie, created in partnership with China's DMG Entertainment, was filmed in Beijing, but the version released in China featured special bonus footage. Most notably, a scene was spliced into this edition in which a Chinese doctor is shown saving Iron Man's life. Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie about Freddie Mercury and Queen, was edited for Chinese audiences. The Freddie Mercury biopic released in 2019 was shown in China, but it was devoid of any scenes that referenced the singer's sexuality and AIDS diagnosis. 2 scenes of men kissing were removed from the film, as well as any inclusion of the word gay. So it's like, what is that movie then? What is without all of that? What is Bohemian Rhapsody? Just like some footage of them playing in concert. Lord of War, the Nick Cage movie that was from back in 2000. It says right here 2005. Another film, another totally different ending. Lord of War, the 2005 Nicolas Cage starring crime drama, sees the titular character playing an illegal arms dealer. At the end of the film, spoiler alert, albeit 17 years later, we see Cage side-skipping, in the movie we see Cage side-skipping any jail time and continuing his dealing. The conclusion also informs audiences that the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council are the largest global arms dealers, which includes China. So that's the way the regular movie ends. The film's China version has a replacement caption once again explaining that Cage confessed to all his crimes and was sentenced to life imprisonment. The end. 6 Minute Alien Covenant, 2017. 6 minutes into Alien Covenant, 6 minutes of Alien Covenant from 2017 were cut in China, including a gay kiss between 2 androids and a scene of violence. Many of the cuts also included footage of humans being attacked by aliens. The censorship was lamented by Chinese viewers who condemned the awkward and abrupt result. Okay, so there you go. So that's why Fight Club is trending, because Fight Club's entire meaning of the film was just butchered by the Chinese authorities because, they missed it. Tyler Durden wasn't real. Sorry, spoiler alert. That's the whole point of the movie, that Ed Norton, that character, is having some sort of breakdown, and he envisions this entire world where he has an outlet for his aggressions. And okay, let's see here. Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown is trending. Why? Well, because Peter Robbins, the original voice of Charlie Brown, has died. Original Charlie Brown voice actor Peter Robbins is dead at the age of 65. Robbins, who voiced the Peanuts character during the 60s, had long battled bipolar disorder and other mental illnesses. He killed himself. He died of, it's terrible. Peter Robbins, the first actor to voice Charlie Brown in the Peanuts cartoons and movies, has died by suicide. This, according to Fox 5 San Diego. He was 65 years old. Now, I tried when I was reading the story earlier. I was like, what does Charlie Brown sound like? Do I even know what Charlie Brown sounds like? And this is the guy who voiced all the Charlie Browns that I saw, like all of the great. The Charlie Brown Christmas special. This is the guy, the Great Pumpkin Halloween episode of Charlie Brown. This guy voiced. So all of the Charlie Brown specials that I remember from being a kid, this was the guy who did it. And he was like, he had a lot of problems. And like they said, it turns out that he was bipolar and all that, but he'd been in and out of jail. He was stalking. He got into a lot of fights in the 90s and the 2000s. And so there you go. All right. So Peter Robbins, the original voice of the Charlie Brown character, he is gone. Very sad. Bomb Cyclone is trending. Boy, oh boy, does that sound bad, right? Bomb Cyclone. That's a new thing that we do with weather, because what the news media has realized is that people will tune in for weather stuff. If it's weather stuff, especially if it affects them, they will tune in for it. So they got to jazz it up a little bit now. So we got all of these new names for things that have always occurred. We've always had blizzards, but now they got to they got to rebrand. They got to rebrand for the kids who want a little sizzle, a little razzle dazzle. So now a blizzard on the East Coast is no longer called just a blizzard or a snowstorm. It's a bomb cyclone. And let me tell you, it's going to happen this weekend. They're going to get a bit of a blizzard on the East Coast. It's going to affect everything from Boston to New York to Washington, D.C. So expect, with the East Coast bias in the media, to see nothing but this all weekend long. It's snow. They get snow there every winter, but they're calling it a bomb cyclone. Confidence is growing that a winter storm with the intensity of a hurricane, snow measured in feet, and blizzard-like conditions will impact major... That's a blizzard. I've lived through blizzards. That's what blizzards are. Really bad high winds, lots of snow, and then plummeting temperatures. The models continue to show a nor'easter. So that's what it used to be called, a nor'easter. But that's not scary enough. Bomb cyclone. Huh? A bomb cyclone is coming? Why, what's that? It's just a nor'easter. Oh, I know what that is. I've lived through those before. That's not that scary. The models continue to show a nor'easter with blockbuster potential for the weekend, mainly late Friday through Saturday. There are still questions about how much snow will pile up and how extreme the winds will get. Heavy snow is most likely in parts of New England. Heavy snow is still possible and likely farther along the south corridor, the East Coast, including major I-95 metropolitan areas of New York City, all the way to Washington, D.C. All right, so there you go. Guidance indicates potential for this storm to undergo bombogenesis, meaning its central pressure drops at least 24 MBs in 24 hours. The Boston Weather Service office said, referring to the unit of pressure known as millibars, this creates a very tight pressure gradient. It's weather nerd, weather stuff. They're going to get a snowstorm. They're going to get a snowstorm on the East Coast, and that's all it is. It's a snowstorm. It's a snowstorm like they always have, and now it's called a bomb cyclone. Monkey virus is trending. This is a fun one. I hadn't talked about this because this happened over the weekend, and we didn't do shows over the weekend, but this was a story that I was following that I just thought was so troubling, potentially one we should follow, a story that we should probably keep an eye on. Over the weekend in Pennsylvania, there was a car accident involving one of those box trucks. We see them all the time. And the box truck fell over on the road, and all the contents of the box truck spilled out. That's always fun because you're always like, ooh, anything good that I can steal? Oh, by the way, don't do that now. Don't do that now. You can't when a truck overturns and suddenly you're like neck deep in cans of beer or whatever. Just don't take anything. Don't. Everybody's filming. There are cameras everywhere. You won't get away with it. We learned that a year ago. Remember when the money Brinks truck in San Diego overturned and everybody started stealing money? That's the dream one, right? The money train or the money truck that overturns on the expressway, and suddenly, you've got like $100 bills on your windshield. Nah, all that money was recovered. All those people got caught. There was just too many cameras, too many people, license plates. Everybody got their license plates recorded. It was crazy. Okay, so this happened in Pennsylvania. Box truck overturned, but guess what was in the box truck? Sure shit wasn't money. These were lab monkeys, a bunch of lab monkeys who were being tested for diseases, and they were on their way to a lab. They were going from one lab to another, and nobody is saying if these monkeys had diseases. Nobody is saying that. Everybody's just like, yeah, just monkeys. But we don't know what these monkeys had. But probably best if you encounter one of these monkeys out in the wild, don't touch it. Just call us. Just move away from the monkey. Now, they caught most of the monkeys, but there's still one that's out there. And isn't this how Outbreak started? Remember the movie Outbreak with the monkey? That's pretty much how. Oh, so this is a story about a woman. So then it started talking about the first woman who was on the scene. This lady showed up first, and she went into the cab of the box truck to try and help the driver who was injured. And when she got into the cab, there was a monkey who had escaped the cage. And the monkey was like the monkey hissed at her and was like being really territorial because the monkey had just been in a car wreck and probably not feeling well because the monkey was probably sick. And then it started trending yesterday that the woman who encountered the monkey was sick. That she suddenly had a cold, she had a cough, and that she was under the care of doctors. All right, so now we get to today. The woman is speaking. She's saying, "I'm not sick." What do you mean? I'm not? This is stupid. Why is this story going around that the monkey who hissed on me gave me something? I'm not sick. Well, maybe she is, though, and she just doesn't want to be the monkey lady. A woman who supposedly fell ill after having a close encounter with an escaped lab monkey in Pennsylvania is, quote, not sick. Michelle Fallon has said that despite media reports about her health, she is not unwell and had been given rabies shots and antibiotics as a precautionary measure. I want people to know that I'm not sick, regardless of what they are reading that has been put out there by the media, she told the Daily Item. A truck carrying 100 imported macaw monkeys was headed to a Missouri lab when it collided with another vehicle on January the 21st on an east central Pennsylvania highway. Fallon was the first to the scene and had gone to help the driver when one of the escaped monkeys hissed in her face. In a Facebook post, which can be found here, Fallon said that the driver of the truck had not advised her to stay clear of the monkeys, which is why she had approached them. I am worried that people think I have monkey virus, she wrote. Nobody wants to have monkey virus. And now we must question your credibility because maybe you have the monkey virus and you don't want people. We don't even know if there is a monkey virus. We don't even know if these monkeys were diseased yet. They're not saying. All they're saying is, don't go near the monkeys. Monkeys are probably fine. Now, folks, calm down. There's probably nothing, but don't go near them. Just if you see one, seriously, call this number. Professionals will come out and handle the monkey. I know they're cute, but are they diseased? How do you define disease? That is not the answer we're looking for. That is not. Look, all we're saying is don't go near the monkeys. If you find them, they found all the monkeys too. They found them all except for one. Some people took to the internet suggesting that the crash. Oh God, here we go. Here we go. This has to be a Q thing, right? The Q nuts come out. Just regular pedestrian, everyday car accident on the road, and it's got to be some lizard people plan to keep us under their thumb. Some people took to the internet suggesting that the crash was staged in order to start another pandemic. Jason Booth tweeted, Jason Booth, congratulations, you've been outed as a moron. Jason Booth tweeted, "Isn't this how the virus in the movie Outbreak started?" Well, that's something I just said, so I guess I'm a moron too. Another Twitter user, Randy Brown, said, "Monkey virus, while COVID is fading, courts are battling down mandates. Doesn't look like it will hold till the midterms. So, another lab accident, monkey virus, zombies, pink eye. I think there was a movie about this one." Who's that guy? Randy Brown. You're an idiot. According to the CDC, the species of monkey commonly spreads herpes virus B through saliva, feces, or urine. Joe Stender, spokesperson for the Gessinger Medical Center, where Fallon was treated, told the newspaper, that's the woman who encountered the monkey, told the newspaper the hospital is following guidance from the Pennsylvania Department of Health and the CDC. It will treat anyone potentially exposed to the monkeys. In an interview with the Daily Item, Fallon said that she had attended a party after the monkey incident where a number of guests later tested positive for COVID. Okay. Yeah. So what took you so long to get here, Michelle? Oh, craziest thing happened. So I'm driving down the Pennsylvania Turnpike and I come around the turn and I see just monkeys everywhere and they're running around and then there's this truck that overturned. So you know me, I'm a good citizen. I was concerned about the driver. So I got out, I'm wading through all the monkeys and I get to the guy in the truck and I say, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Hey, help me. And then out of nowhere, some monkey goes and breathes in my face. Well, that was enough for me. So I just got in my car and that's why I'm late. It's been so long. So good to see you." She went to a party. She went to a party after having the monkey incident. Now that's how pandemics start. I explained what happened, and they said I was at very low risk of anything, but I went to get checked out anyway because I started to not feel well at first, she told the newspaper, saying COVID could have been the cause of her symptoms. The monkey escape incident is currently being investigated by the U.S. Department of Agriculture following a complaint filed by the People for the Ethical... Oh, stop it, PETA. PETA said that the CDC should be scrambling to ensure that numerous other people who were at the scene are not in danger of catching a disease. The organization has also raised concern that the monkeys have not received veterinary treatment. Well, they're being poisoned. What do you mean, veterinary treatment? These monkeys are going to die anyway. What do you think happens in these labs? We give them a disease. We track the disease through them. Monkeys and other primates may be brought into the United States for scientific, educational, or exhibition purposes. However, PETA said that this happens with no oversight, and monkeys often endure day-long trips sitting in their own urine and feces. Well, you can't just stop every time a monkey has to go to the bathroom. I mean, they're like children. You'll never get anywhere. You'll be stopping constantly, especially to 100 monkeys. All right, who needs to go? And imagine that they pull up into like the big flying J truck stop. Just you open up the back door and a whole bunch of monkeys holding hands just go into the bathroom. All right, so there you go. So we got a monkey situation in this country. Nobody's saying anything about it. We don't know what the hell is going on with the monkey situation, but I suppose anything is possible these days, huh? Let's see here. Janet Jackson is trending. Janet Jackson is trending because she is talking about her body image. She was... Janet Jackson says that she had like severe body dysmorphia and she had like weight issues. And she says that a lot of it came from Michael. When they were younger, Michael used to call her a pig and used to snort at her and, all that kind of stuff. And like brothers pick on little sisters. I mean, I don't think he was just being a monster. I think he was just being a little boy picking on his little sister. But she said that all manifested itself over the years and she became, her weight went up and down. I don't remember that. I mean, I remember Janet Jackson. I remember Janet Jackson going all the way back to the time she played Penny on Good Times. And then she was Charlene on Different Strokes. And then she was on the TV show Fame. And then, boom, she became Janet Jackson, one of the greatest female performing. Oh, man, Rhythm Nation was so great. She was, when I was in college when Rhythm Nation came out. Oh, boy. You couldn't go to a party without Rhythm Nation. Oh, my God. Everybody would get out of the dance floor. Let's see here. Janet Jackson, she says, I probably would have wound up not having a problem with my body issues if not for fame. Well, that's an interesting quote because if not for fame, you probably would have had a whole bunch of other issues, like, I don't know. I mean, look, if you can be Janet Jackson, the upside is that you're Janet Jackson. Even coming from that family, you're almost universally beloved and applauded as a truly gifted artist as far as a singer, a songwriter, a performer, a dancer. You're Janet Jackson. You're cool. You've always been cool, right? At least people from my generation, Janet Jackson is cool. So you get all of that, but also you're really worried about people calling you fat. So, I mean, I get it, but you're not fat. Boy, do you remember Janet Jackson as Charlene on Different Strokes? There's an entire generation of white boys like myself who Janet Jackson was the first black girl who we went, oh, that's an option now. Okay. All right. See, all I know, I don't really see a lot of like black women in my everyday life because I'm growing up here in the lily white suburbs. But holy cow, is that that girl on Different Strokes gorgeous? She played Charlene. She was Todd Bridges, Willis's girlfriend. Oh, she was an angel. She was so pretty. Had that big giant Janet Jackson smile. Oh, she was pretty. So that's why she's trending. She's talking about her body image issues that she's had for years and years. We all do. And we all have body. Imagine if I was famous and I could talk about my struggles with weight and I'd be like, oh, it's, if I wasn't famous, no, if you weren't famous, nobody would be listening to you talk about your struggles with weight because the non-famous, we're all struggling with our issues with weight. Nobody cares. And I literally mean nobody cares. Book of Boba Fett is trending today. Book of Boba Fett is, of course, the new made for Disney Plus series about Boba Fett. I love Boba Fett. I'm a big Boba Fett fan. I've been a Boba Fett fan since the late 70s. But Boba Fett was like the coolest character. Boba Fett was, as far as the Star Wars universe goes, in the original movies, he was just supposed to be a one-off, but people thought he was so cool that they actually turned him into like more of a character in later movies, and they referenced him and all that stuff. And now he's got his own series, and we're getting to know Boba Fett in the way that we had never known Boba Fett before. And I like it. If you have Disney Plus, and maybe you do it because you got kids, so you watch The Mandalorian or whatever. Boba Fett is pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't know if I've only seen like the first 3 episodes, so I got to play catch up. So I like it. He's like a mob boss. Boba Fett is like the mob boss of Tatooine, which is interesting. If you remember Tatooine from the Star Wars movies, it's done very much like a mob movie, like not a mob movie, but like he's like a soprano type. He's like the leader of this like criminal gang, and he seems like a pretty cool guy though. I mean, he doesn't seem evil. So, but the why is but so what? Pugs, it's been out for like a month now. Why is the Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus trending? Because episode 5 dropped and everybody's going nuts about episode 5. Apparently, episode 5 of the Book of Boba Fett is the best one. And if you've been waiting for it to pick up, it totally picks up in episode 5. So there you go. That's why Book of Boba Fett. Like I said, I'm on 3. And I probably won't jump into the Book of Boba Fett because I've got an episode and a half left of Ozark. I got to get through Ozark before I can, get caught up. I got stuff I got to get caught up on, man. Like 2 weeks ago, I started re-binging Justified because there wasn't really anything new that I wanted to watch. So I'm in the middle of season 2 on Justified. That has stalled out. Only because Ozark posted last Friday. So I've been watching nothing but Ozark since last Friday, like an episode a day. And then and then HBO has the Mighty, is it Mighty or the Gemstones, whatever the Gemstones with Danny McBride and John Goodman, which is so good, man. The Gemstones is so good, but I like to wait for a number of issues to stack up because I fear that I'll watch one episode and then I'll be like, well, I got time. I'll watch another episode and there won't be another episode available. So I like to, I'm going to wait for a couple more episodes of the Gemstones to build up before I really jump into that. I've watched the first episode and half of the second episode. So I'm waiting for that. And I got to finish Ozark and I've fallen. That's why I've fallen behind on the Book of Boba Fett, but I'll get in there. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I've got back. Billions has restarted on Showtime. So now I'm waiting for Billions to build up. God, I love Billions. There's a lot of good stuff. And because of this crazy schedule that I'm keeping now with doing like 2 streams a day, the noon stream here and then the 9 o'clock stream with Parker, my day is just broken up into such weird chunks because, I wake up and I immediately start working on the noon show. So that's like 3 hours of reading newspapers and figuring out all the stuff that we're going to talk about here. And then I have like lunch. And then I have like 2 hours of downtime where I don't do it, where I should be writing and I should be working out. But I'm not. What I end up doing is just laying on the couch and listening to sports radio. And I justify it by going, I'm so emotionally exhausted from the high noon show. Somebody save. And this does not work. This is not like digging ditches. This is not like what you guys do when you have to punch a clock and you got a boss yelling at you. But, talking for 2 hours straight, as, I've been doing now for, 90, 102 minutes. It does take a little bit out of you. I think it's like a soul sucking kind of thing where you just try and talk. So again, not comparing this. This is not hard. It's a different kind of difficulty, but it's certainly not a hard job. People who get up and go to a job that they hate, that's hard. And you want to talk about soul sucking. That is soul sucking. I love doing this. I wake up every morning and I get excited. I'm like, ooh, what are we going to talk about today? So I hate when I go off on this. Oh, I'm so tired after the show because it just sounds so narcissistic and so completely skewed as to what everybody goes through in their life. I am blessed to have you folks that you tune in here and you watch this. And that's why I do it. I love that you're here. I love doing it for you. But at the end of the day, when we're done here and the camera goes off, it is very much, okay, I can shut up now. And if I don't do anything, then I'll be like, I'm falling asleep. Yeah. So today I'm going to go off for a run though. It's sunny. It's nice. As soon as we sign off here, I'm not going to eat lunch or anything. I'm just going to go directly out for a run. He says now. We'll see. We got about a half hour before we make that a reality. Book of Boba Fett is trending. We talked about that. The Nissan Rogue is trending. The Nissan Rogue is the #1 sold Nissan vehicle in America. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize. So that's why this is trending pretty high today. The Nissan Rogue, they're recalling a whole bunch of Nissan Rogues. 793,000 SUVs are recalled for fire risk. Apparently there's an issue with something that's inside the driver's pedal well, where you put your feet. Underneath there's some water is seeping into that area and it's causing things to short out. And in some very rare cases, Nissan says fires are breaking out in Nissan Rogues. Now, this affects vehicles. Let's see, because they always like to give you what year vehicle these are. Well, here, I'll read it to you because you may have one. Nissan is recalling almost 800,000 small SUVs in the US and Canada because water can get into wiring, which in rare cases could start a fire. The recall covers Nissan Rogue SUVs from the 2014 through 2016 model years. The Rogue is Nissan's top-selling vehicle in the United States. So there you go. If you've got a Nissan Rogue, 2014 Rogue, 2015 Rogue, or 2016 Rogue, be checking your mail because you'll be getting one of those recall notices. I had a recall notice on a Chevy that I owned recently. Recently, I mean like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. And it was easy. It was I took it in. They fixed it free of charge. They went, "Our bad, sorry about that." And then the car ran perfectly for another couple of years, no problems. My home state of Illinois is trending alongside J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois. You guys don't know J.B. Pritzker, but here's what you need to know. Not all billionaires who buy their way into public office, high office, governor of the state of Illinois, high office. Not all the billionaires who do that are like, conservative right-wing guys. J.B. Pritzker's kind of a progressive billionaire, which, I'm like, eye roll. I don't like billionaire. I could just stop there. And you know what? I will. I don't like billionaires. I was going to say a whole nother thing, but I don't like billionaires. I just don't. J.B. Pritzker is one of these billionaires. His family owns this family owns everything. They own a whole bunch of stuff, but most notably, they own and are the founders of the Hyatt hotel chains, Hyatt hotels and all that. So this is that family. He is trending because here, I'll give it to you. Well, I'll tell you exactly why he's trending, because this is provocative. Ooh, boy. Well, he wouldn't be trending if it wasn't provocative. That's true. He wouldn't be. Governor J.B. Pritzker on Monday vetoed a bill that would have provided paid administrative leave for public school and university employees who miss work due to COVID-19 related issues, and instead negotiated compromise legislation that would provide such leave to only those who are vaccinated. All right, so are you following this? So the Illinois House, they had a bill, and all it needed was the governor's signature that said that if you are a teacher or a university person, works for the state university system, and you get COVID, you will still be paid. You'll be given money basically for staying home and not doing your job. And the state legislator was like, yeah, we got to take care of all these people. And it went to the governor's desk, and the governor said, no, veto. We're going to take care of the ones who are vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated and now you're sick, no, you're not getting paid for that. But if you did all the things that were asked of you and you got vaccinated and you still got sick, we'll take care of you. But the other people, we've made it perfectly clear that, you are setting yourself up to be a higher risk. We're not going to pay for those people. They were warned and they just disregarded all the warnings, and now they're sick and they want to get paid. Well, they don't have to be sick because they could have. That's basically his argument, which, I'm vaccinated, I'm boosted, I still wear my mask whenever I go out in public around people and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm doing all that. But I've also said, I'm done. I am done fighting with people. I don't care if you don't wear a mask. I don't care. If you're not vaccinated, I don't hate you. I don't hate you. We're not going to fight about it. Whatever. Just, I don't want to talk about it. Let's not get into it because, there are other things that we can talk about. But let's not go there with each other, because on some level, I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. But I don't define you by this one thing. There's so many people out there who they're cutting people out of their lives and defining them entirely by this one choice. And I can't do that. I'm not willing to do that. And I'm also uncomfortable, although I understand the more militant people out there who are like, good, if they don't, and Pritzker would be one of these militant people. If they didn't want to get the vaccination and now they're sick, I'm not comfortable with that either, because I believe that when people get sick, we kind of got to wipe the slate clean, and we need to be humans, and we need to take care of our sick people. But what about the beds? What about the baby that's in the car? Yeah, that's terrible. That is terrible. And I don't have an answer for you on that. But I also know that in the moment when a fellow human being is sick and needs help, I want to give them help, regardless. I don't give a shit who they voted for. I don't give a shit what decisions they've made. We've all made bad decisions. I've made a bunch of bad decisions. I also understand the more militant people who are like, nope, fuck them. I am just uncomfortable at this stage of my life saying no, fuck them to anybody. I just believe we're all humans. We're all messed up. We all make stupid decisions. We all have beliefs that may be right, may be wrong. We don't know. But it doesn't mean that if you get sick that we're not going to care for you. There. I've said my piece, and I may very well be wrong, and you may very well disagree with me, and that's fine. But as I've learned over the last couple of years, we don't need to agree on everything. And maybe we start focusing on the things that we do agree on instead of completely eliminating all lines of dialogue with those who disagree with us on certain things, right? Just let's find the things, let's work to find the things that bring us together, as opposed to red flagging the things that we have nothing to do. I want nothing to do with that. Now, there's some people, right? I mean, if you're a Nazi, that's that. Look, let's be smart about this. It's a sliding scale. You're a Nazi. You're a member of the Klan. You're trying to destroy America by burning down the White House. Whatever. We can have a conversation about it. But again, people are. I know too many people who, as it turns out, I actually care about, who are not vaccinated, for me to just be like, I hate them. So that's done. That's over. I've sort of had an enlightened moment for myself personally. And again, let's go back to personal choice. This is my personal choice. I got myself vaccinated. I got myself boosted. I'm doing everything that is being asked of me. And some people are not, and that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it's not something that I'm going to fight about anymore, and I'm not going to hate you anymore. I'm done with the hate. I'm tired of it. I don't want to hate people anymore. I don't want to define people by one decision, even if I do consider that decision to be a bit poorly informed and misguided. But I don't care. I don't care. We can still be friends. We're just not going to talk about it. A lot of things we don't talk about. I am friends with people from Wisconsin who are diehard Green Bay Packer fans, and they hate the Bears. And guess what? We don't talk about that subject. That's a subject. And there are so many other things that I enjoy talking to them about. Well, you're just being a defeatist. This is a war, Pugs. We need to go to war with these people. No, we don't. I'm done with wars. I'm done with being at war with people. I'm going to lean into my hippy dippy Jesus, hey, let's all love each other kind of vibe. That isn't going to work. The world is burning around us. Yeah, I know. So I got the marshmallows. We'll make the best of it. What else is trending? David Ortiz, Big Papi, of course, is trending. David Ortiz is the only guy that was elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame yesterday. Roger Clemens didn't get in. Who else didn't get in? Barry Bonds didn't get in. A whole bunch of people didn't get in. Only Big Papi. Only Big Papi got in. The Baseball Hall of Fame, and in particular, baseball writers and the Baseball Hall of Fame voters suck. These people, it's the worst Hall of Fame of all the Hall of Fames. And it's the worst because they think they're the most important. The Baseball Hall of Fame is a joke, in my estimation, until Pete Rose is in, until until Barry Bonds is in, until Sammy Sosa is in, until Mark McGwire is in. I mean, it's just a joke. It's a joke. You cannot selectively just say that these players who are great somehow, because they juiced it. Okay, whatever. Then go back through the history of baseball. We can do it now. And let's take a look at people like Ty Cobb. Let's take a look at people like Lou Brock. Let's take a look at people like Ricky Henderson. Let's take a look at they were people and I'm not casting aspersions on any of those people except Ty Cobb. We know Ty Cobb was a dirtbag. We know Ty Cobb is a terrible representation of baseball. And yet he's in the Hall of Fame. In the 60s, they were doing amphetamines. In the 70s, they were doing cocaine and amphetamines. I mean, come on. Oh my God, the dog is barking. The dog is barking. But Big Papi went in. And Big Papi went in because he was beloved by the baseball writers. He was a big, gregarious, I'll sit and talk to you forever. He's like just this great, friendly guy, certainly worthy of going in. Look, Big Papi deserves to go into the Hall of Fame. There is absolutely no denying that. I'm making the case for all these other people, and Big Papi is definitely involved in it. Here, wait, we don't want this. But the problem is that Big Papi was also involved in the steroid situation. Big Papi was, he was named. He had to give a press conference. Oh, geez, the dog is out there doing bad things. Come on, dog. Alleged positive performance-enhancing drug test. 2003, on July 30th, 2009, the New York Times, citing anonymous sources, reported that Ortiz was among a group of over 100 Major League players on a list compiled by federal investigators that allegedly tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs during the Major League Baseball survey. The survey testing was agreed to by Major League Baseball and the Players Association to determine the extent of performance-enhancing drugs. On August 8th, 2009, Ortiz held a press conference before a game at Yankee Stadium. He denied ever buying or using steroids. So they did this whole steroid investigation, and David Ortiz was one of the people who was named to tested positive. And because the baseball writers just thought he's such a charming guy, they just never did anything with it. It just went away. Oh, Big Papi, we love. Meanwhile, Barry Bonds, who was an asshole to baseball writers, Roger Clemens, who was an asshole to baseball writers, those guys aren't allowed in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Now, granted, their situations were a little bit more detailed and a little bit more was found out. But even the suspicion, Sammy Sosa was also on this 100 players, same as David Ortiz. The suspicion was there for Sammy Sosa, and that's the reason most commonly cited why Sammy Sosa will never get into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Oh, because of steroids. But same with David Ortiz. Oh, but he's Big Papi. Come on. Baseball writers suck. The Baseball Hall of Fame sucks. Congratulations to Big Papi. That's all I'm saying. All right, that's going to do it for today. You know what? No, I'm sorry. It's not going to do it for today. I like to, at the end of the show, take a look at what I've missed, what started trending while I was doing the show, because I don't get to keep up with that in real time. So let's just click on the Twitter, because that's the easiest and typically the most immediate. Let's see here. Oh my God, the dog is going to get the police called on him. Oh my, okay, guys, I gotta let the dog in. Just give me a second. Give me a second. You know what? Here. We'll just do this. I got a stupid dog. Oh, no, not that one. Here you go. All right. Enjoy a little John Hinckley closing music. We'll come back. I'll run through anything new, and then we'll jump into the chat room. I'll be right back. I gotta let this stupid dog in. Help me to be strong. I am like the dancing bear, trained to be the best. I am on a never-ending quest. I can smile a little now. Things are going good. I always had to be on guard. All right, that was easy. All right. Go to bed. Good girl. She was right to her little bed spot. The dog comes out on my back porch. She exits the big house here on the 1%er compound. She climbs up my stairs and she hangs out on my back porch. And she likes the back porch because it overlooks everything, because it's higher up. And she can bark at squirrels from up high. She can bark at people in the other yards. She just comes out there and starts barking. And then we got this dickhead doctor who's a total a-hole who has called the police on her after she barks like maybe 10 times. She's not out there for hours going, arr, 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 arr. I mean, that I understand. That's uncalled for. But that's never happened. She barks out there. It irritates me in the house here, and I bring her in. So we got to be very careful. All right, let's see what is trending that we missed. Stephen Breyer is still trending. Kobe is still trending. Jerome Powell. Okay, so that's stupid. I don't want to talk about finance. Anything new? Les Miles is trending. Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase shared during news conference that former LSU coach Les Miles once told him that he couldn't play receiver when he was coming out of high school. Justice Kavanaugh is trending. Not interested in that. Bad Bunny is trending. I don't know who Bad Bunny is. Oh, I do know. Here's what I know about Bad Bunny. I know that I just assumed it was a woman. Bad Bunny is a guy. There you go. Not why they're trending. I don't really care. Daniel Jones is trending, New York Giants quarterback. Ian Rappaport is reporting that in his intro press conference, new Giants GM Joe Schoen says of quarterback Daniel Jones, "We'll build an offense to accentuate what Daniel does best." It's okay. There you go. Big show of support for how convenient for them. The Giants have a lot of picks. They've got 2 picks in the first round. They've got the pick from the Bears that we gave them in order to trade up last year to pick Justin Fields, and they got 2 first-round picks, and there's no quarterbacks. It's not a great year for quarterbacks coming out of college. So you better be okay with Daniel Jones. Scalia, all the individual members of the Supreme Court are trending. Stacey Abrams, Charlie Brown, Kelly Yante. Okay, so there's nothing really new. There is nothing big. Let's jump into the chat room. Okay, let's see what I've missed. This is the part of the show where we like to all right, early on, hello. Everybody's saying hello, amigo, my friend. Adam Reyna wants to know, are we no longer calling it the Comfort Nest? No, we are. Thank you for reminding me. I just need to be constantly reminded of that because I like that name. I like that. I like it as any kind of brand. Comfort Nest Productions. People go, oh, that's an interesting way of saying that. Where did that come from? John Hinckley. John Hinckley created that phrase, Comfort Nest. Oh, John, I'm not sure I'm familiar with John Hinckley. You know, the guy who tried to kill Reagan? All right, hold on. This is Buffalo. Hey, what's happening? We're still streaming. What's going on? Is this off the air? Do you want to talk off the air, or are you okay?
No, it's fine. Do you have the dog with you?
Yeah, did you hear her barking?
Yeah, I was going to say, let her out. I'm going to take her for a walk.
All right, I'll let her out right now. She was barking out on the back porch, so I just dragged her in here. All right, I'll send her home now. Well, there's no goodbye? He doesn't say goodbye? What the hell? All right, excuse me. I got to go let the dog out. Let's go, CeeLo. Come on. Daddy wants to take you for a walk. Come on. Let's go for a walk. Come on, let's go. Come on, buddy. Come on, let's go. Come on. Come on. No, come see Daddy. Come on, baby. Come on. It's good. You're going to go for a walk. Come on. Go for a walk. There you go. Go for a walk. All right. All right. So here we go. Bum, bum, bum. April, we were talking about it's Nadia Suleiman Day here. Nadia Suleiman, of course, Octomom. She gave birth to the 8. Her name's Octomom. Mom. And I literally had to stop and go, wait, how many were there? How many kids did Octo Mom? I'm so stupid. So she had 8 kids born on this day 13 years ago. And April was pointing out that, she had 6 kids before the octuplets. All right. Paul Newman's birthday. We did a Paul Newman movie draft. I said Slapshot came in at number 5, and Byron Granger says, no, Slapshot is number 1. And I'm like, well, then, dude, you've never seen Cool Hand Luke, because Cool Hand Luke is one of the best. April says Cars. Cars. Look, man, Paul Newman had so many great movies. The Paul Newman movie draft that I did could have gone 10 rounds. Easily could have gone 10 rounds. Somebody Up There Likes Me is such a good movie. And that's one of what was the other one about the Jewish people on the mountain? Whatever. That was good. What else was there? The Color of Money with Tom Cruise. What was the other one too where he played? What's the original Color? Not the original, but the prequel to Color of Money. The Hustler. Did the Hustler make my list? It should have. It might have. Once again, my Paul Newman movie draft. In the first round, I took Cool Hand Luke. In the second round, I took Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. In the third round, I took Winning. In the fourth round, I took The Sting. And in the fifth round, I took Slapshot. Yeah, so I guess I didn't take The Hustler. The Hustler is so good. With Jackie Gleason as Minnesota Fats. Oh, so good. So good. Let's see here. Anita Hill. A number of you reminded me of the name I was struggling. Anita Hill, because I thought that would be funny if that's who Biden appointed to the Supreme Court, because Justice Breyer is stepping down. And of course, you'd see Anita Hill right next to Clarence Thomas. But then I was reminded that it was Joe Biden who was the chair of the Senate committee that was investigating the allegations against Clarence Thomas, and Joe Biden was kind of an asshole to her. So maybe that's not going to happen. Tom says, "Isn't the XFL coming back also?" I don't think so. Maybe, Tom. I don't know. Tom is a football coach. He might know more than me. I'm not as into the XFL as I am into. Look at that. Okay, the official. Okay, you know what? It looks like maybe the XFL is coming back, because there's still. Oh my God, The Rock is involved with the XFL. All right, so the USFL is being backed by Fox. And a potential competitor to Dwayne The Rock Johnson's XFL is looking to make a big impression with its first game. Fox and NBC will simulcast. Okay, so yeah, Tom, you're right. The XFL is coming back. Yeah. All right. So there you go. I'm not, the original incarnation of the XFL back in late 90s, early 2000s, the maybe Vince McMahon kind of deal. I did watch that. That was fun, man. That was fun. And, there were a whole bunch of innovations that the XFL used back then that the NFL absorbed, and now we take for granted in the NFL. I like the kickoff. Do you remember how they didn't have kickoffs in the XFL? It was just a fumble drill. Like they'd have one guy stand on the 20-yard line of one side and then another guy on the 20-yard line of the other side. And then they would put the football on the 50-yard line and they'd blow a whistle. And the first guy to get to the ball was the team who had possession. That's awesome. Dangerous because, these guys are colliding at full speed, but it was awesome to watch. So yeah. Thank you. The XFL is coming back. I'll check it out. I don't care. I'm not a football snob, man. I told you. I watched on ESPN Plus. I watched a whole bunch of Canadian football games culminating with the Canadian Super Bowl, which I really enjoyed. The Canadian Super Bowl this year, I think it's called the Grey Cup. I call it the Canadian Super Bowl. The Canadian Super Bowl was a great game this year. I don't know who won. I don't know. Hamilton. I think it was the Hamilton Tiger Cats versus, I don't know who won. It was a good game though. And crazy. If you're not familiar with the CFL, here's how I described it. The CFL is like if an alien came down to our planet and watched a couple of NFL games and then flew back to his own planet and they said, what are you going to bring from Earth to us here? And he went, this thing called professional football. And they said, okay, what are the rules? And he kind of forgot a bunch of stuff about the NFL rules because he's only seen a couple of games. And then he made up some other stuff. That's what CFL football would look like. That is what CFL football is. It's like an alien going, I saw a couple NFL games. I'm not entirely sure about all the rules, but here, let's just do this instead. That's what CFL is. I enjoyed the CFL. I did. I enjoy football. I'm not a football snob. Let's see here. Also, I made this statement to my son. We were watching a CFL game. My son and I, we saw a couple of Texas high school football games, which, yeah, I mean, it's really Texas high school football, especially we went to the playoff games, the state playoffs. So the teams that are all the teams are like 10-1. I mean, all the teams have just destroyed everybody else. And now you get 2 10-1 teams with like a 6'7", 340-pound offensive tackle on both. It's crazy, the talent. I would say that the level of talent that I watched in the Texas high school playoff this past season, the Texas high school football talent that I watched, it's about what the CFL talent is. It's about, I would say, maybe the CFL's a little better, but not much. Not much. I've never seen high school football like the stuff that I witnessed. Highland Park versus, oh God, it was just crazy. I don't want to get into it. Don't get into it. Let's see here. See. Adam Reyna in the USFL talk. Cardale Jones of Ohio State, time to shine, baby. Tom says Filet-O-Fish used to be cheap and now they're expensive, but no change to the sandwich. Except that the sandwiches all seem smaller, Tom. Have you ever seen when they show you what a Big Mac looked like in 1978 and then they show you what a new Big Macs are smaller. They made Big Macs smaller. I think it was because the calories were so high and people started to get, well, there's so many calories in a Big Mac that they figured they had to cut it down. So instead of changing or using better ingredients, they just made the sandwich smaller. Oh, look, 20% less calories. Yeah, 20% less sandwich. That's not. Let's see. Adam's talking about the book. Okay, yeah, this is interesting. Adam Reyna talking about the movie Fight Club. He says, also, like Joe Rogan, I hate a bunch of the fans of the movie Fight Club because most dudes miss the point of the movie. They really do. They really do, man. There's a lot of meatheads out there who have no idea what the point of Fight Club is. And they just think, yeah, man, they were in the basement and they were just punching each other in the head. Yeah, that's not what that's sort of like a side aspect of what the movie's about. A much deeper, oh, I didn't get that, man. What are you talking about, you nerd? Tyler, the Brad Pitt character, that wasn't a real character. That was just a projection of it. What do you mean it's not a real character? Of course it's a real character. I'm like, no, that's pretty much all things that Ed Norton is creating to sort of as an outlet for his. You can't explain it to people. You can't. If they didn't get it and they just think it's a movie about people who fight in a basement, so be it. On that level, it is probably an enjoyable movie as well. But that ain't the point of the movie. That is not the point of Fight Club. Sorry. Dustin Seeley says that the monkeys who escaped from the car accident, that those monkeys are just crisis actors. Yeah, they are. They're a bunch of local school kids that they dressed up as monkeys running around. That's all. Bunch of parents on QAnon message boards got their kids to dress up like monkeys. It never actually happened. It's just a ploy to get us all to think that another pandemic is here so that we stay in. For what point? I mean, that's what I don't get. Okay, so question. So why do the lizard people want us to all be not spending our money, tanking the economy, not going out, not doing what is their point there? There's no answer for that. Well, it's because they want to control us. But if they're trying to control us, I mean, wouldn't it be better for them to maybe let that manifest itself in like us working in salt mines and being imprisoned and actually doing something rather than staying home for 2 years and watching Netflix? Man, you don't get it. You need to join this QAnon group on Reddit that I'm in. No, I really don't. I really don't need to join. Leslie talking about the governor of Illinois vetoing a bill that would provide payments to people who get COVID and miss work in the Illinois university system and public school system. He says he's going to veto that, but here's my compromise. If you're vaccinated and you get sick, then we'll give you some money. But if you're not vaccinated and you get sick, we're not giving you money. Leslie points out that they do this with smokers and health insurance and obesity. What's the difference? It's a good point, I suppose. It is. Well, the big point is that's terrible, too, that health insurance companies are allowed to, discriminate against people and their choices. And that's why we should all have universal health care. What did you say, you stupid liberal? Yeah, I believe that we should just we're the wealthiest country on the planet. We should take care of our people. That's all I'm saying. One of the benefits of being born a citizen of the greatest country in the world is that there should be a real effort by the government to make sure that the population is healthy and educated. That's it. That's all. And, at some point in America's history, we want them dumb and we want them unhealthy. I don't know how that leads to, and also we want nobody from other countries to ever be allowed to come in. Yeah, but what about the really smart ones from other countries who want to come here and study with our universities? And, nope, can't come in. It's just going to be Americans. But you've already said that you want Americans to be unhealthy and uneducated. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I think that colleges should be free. I think that we should work hard to make sure that every child born in the greatest country on earth is given the best freaking education possible so that they can stay competitive with the rest of the world and outshine the rest of the world. And I also think that we should be healthy. I think that we should make a real effort to ensure that the people of this country do not go bankrupt because they broke. But, you've got all of these people who are like, no, I'm on the side of the insurance companies. I think the insurance companies, they need to have Lear jets on top of the Aetna or top of whatever. They need to make like $1 billion a year. Okay. All right. That's fine. I don't give a shit about some dude that owns an insurance company. I don't give a fuck if that guy's got 4 or 5 Lear jets. That guy should be making like $200,000 a year. Well, that's un-American. No, it's not. Unfortunately, I guess it does sound like it's un-American because of but come on, man. Come on. Kid gets born. He should be insured. He should be insured because he's an American, because we can afford it, because we can do it. Every other country can do it. Countries that don't have a pot to piss in, they do it. United States of America, no, we turn a profit off our citizens getting sick. We also turn a profit off our citizens' desire to be educated. Oh boy, there you go. I'm getting off on a rant. Let's see, what else do we have? Tom Beller points out Sammy Sosa, 600 plus home runs. Nope. Can't be in the Hall of Fame because he was on that list. And same list as Poppy, same list as David Ortiz. But Sammy was a jerk to a baseball writer. So let's see, what else do we have? Adam points out that Joe Biden apologized to Anita Hill personally. I don't care. Doesn't make a difference to me. He was playing a whole different game back in 1989. Oh, you know what? Do you know, this is crazy. The Anita Hill hearings, when Anita Hill went in front of Congress, I watched that with Tom Beller. Tom, I don't even know if you remember, Tom. I was up at Northern, and I think I was sleeping on your floor, and it was on the TV. It was a Saturday morning. We were drunk, hungover, whatever. And I remember, I believe it was you and me who were like the only ones watching it. We were like, okay, this is pretty interesting. So when I think about the Anita Hill hearings going up in front of Congress, I was with you. It was me and Tom. We were up at Northern Illinois University. When I say Northern, that's what I mean. Tom went there. I used to visit. Yeah, there's nothing else. Okay, it looks like we got everything. All right. Hi, Jeff. Yeah, preach it. Yeah, I'm so tired of preaching. I don't want to preach anything. Who am I? I don't know anything about nothing. Tom, yep, we were the only thinkers in the group. No, don't put it that way. Don't. Although he's right, but don't put it that way. That's not how we. But I do remember that. I remember being hungover, laying on the floor, because that's where you'd sleep when you'd go stay in somebody's place. And I remember a little TV was probably on like a milk crate, probably a black and white. I don't know, but it was all that was on Saturday morning. And it was, I don't know. These memories are, but I do remember that I was with Tom, and I remember we were watching it, and I remember sleeping on the floor. I also remember, for some weird reason, being cottonmouth because and I remember drinking water out of a milk jug. Like it was just a milk jug filled with water. I don't know. The college days. All right. All right. Big test for me here, folks. Within the next 5 minutes, and I've been putting this off, within the next 5 minutes, I'm going to have to put on some sweatpants, a sweatshirt, and I'm going to go out. And I'm going to get my run in today. I sprained my ankle 3 weeks ago, and I used that as an excuse not to do any running. But my ankle's been fine for 2 weeks, and I'm still like, oh, but I don't want to twist it again. Well, I also don't want to be fat anymore. Nobody cares. Me and Janet Jackson, nobody cares about our bad body image. I am on a never-ending. Yes, I'm on a never-ending. Spread the word of the show. Share the show. Please, please, please. Share it on your Facebook. Share it. Say a kind word if you can. Share the show. Grow the show. Don't keep this a secret. Don't keep it just us in the chat room. Let's get new people in the chat room. Let's see new people in the chat room. I'll tell you, the next new person that I see pop up in the chat room, I'm going to celebrate that person's ass. I'm going to make it that person day in the chat room. I want to see new people. I love you guys. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with you hardcores. You are important people. But we need it to grow. We need it to grow. You know why? Because we do this show. It costs money to do this show. It costs me money to live here. Not like that. But there are expenses. We don't need to raise a whole lot of money. But I would like, and I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks, to be able to make an announcement where we're not going to need to pitch for donations anymore. But if you can donate, please donate. We're coming to the end of the month. We got 4, 5, 6 days left, and then the bills start coming, and then we look at what we got, and then we try and make it pay. We're going to show up and do the show no matter what. We'll make it work. But your kindness makes it easier. And also, if you can share the show, share it, like it, pleasant. Invite a friend. Say, hey, here's what I listened to. And even if they hate it, it doesn't matter. I just want to see a new person in the chat room. And I see new people from time to time. I don't mean to put it all on you guys. This is, I appreciate you're here. Whoa, whoa. I can smile a little now. Things are going good. I'm like sitting here going, Okay, so how can I get out of running? This is the internal dialogue that I have with myself. Please, some breaking news so that I can, instead of go out and run, I can sit and watch the TV for the next 20 minutes.
I always had to be on guard. That is understood.
It's understood, it's understood.
Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest.
He is on a never-ending. All right, tonight, Pillow Talk, 9 o'clock. Oh, I'm starting to have gas. Apparently, I can't run now.
I am on a never-ending quest.
All right, bye, folks. Love you all.